Alright, welcome back to Lenz's Comic Corner, Classic Lesson Non-Classics. This is episode number 3000 and I think it's 8. Yeah, 3008, Doubleshot 2902. This one here discussing two trades from two books, basically, where they're not very popular now. First up we have is Amazing Spider-Man by Zeb Wells. What volume is this one? Volume 11. Called Going Green. Written by Zeb Wells. Artwork by Ed McGuinness. By the way, this book collects issues 50 to 54 of Amazing Spider-Man Volume 6. Todd Knight does issues 50-53 as a chorus. So, basically, Jeremy Jr. just the covers. He does not do the interior. So, this storyline is a follow-up to Amazing Spider-Man 900 and First Hunt. Yeah, that's what these issues are. They're follow-up to it. So, first up is like, so Living Brain is this now. No longer robots, this thing. It's like, yeah, so he's sent back to Osborn. I thought he quit working. Nope, he's barely back working with him. And Kirk Connor was there, like, he'd be thinking, wait a minute. What was the blood going on the same time these issues were going on? Yes, it was. The problem is, Zeb Wells ignore it. He just pretend didn't happen. Because no mention of vampires here, no mention of Kirk Connors being a lizard, turning a lizard again. No, here he is here in this book, just back normal. And I kind of blame the editor for this, to be asleep at the wheel. They couldn't exactly acknowledge that, oh yeah, Bloodhunt's going on. Nope, don't bother to mention it. So apparently it's like, this is Carlise Starlight. Like, oh yeah, he's a Gold Goblin. Nope. And then apparently he says apparently he's also Green Goblin as well. So apparently he's become evil again. So it's explained that the sins have escaped from the spear that Kraven the Hunter basically put on the ground. It's like two different plots, and we have I was putting this Green Goblin suit again because, of course, basically, we got the suit on again. Yeah, and it feels like that the whole sin thing is basically, it's like two different storylines the same thing. The Living Brain becomes an actual robot. It goes so out of control. Eventually, by the end of this, no one is cured again. Like third time has been cured. And then Spider-Man becomes possessed by the sins again. Because Marvel, some person at Marvel thinks it's a good idea to turn their beloved Marvel superhero children into a supervillain. And I think it's so funny. Living Brain's loosely, I find Living Brain's a little more interesting. And then, of course, the Sinister Six show up, who is comprised of New Kraven the Hunter, Sandman, Mysterio, I believe this is Flip Marco, Electro, Vulture, and Dr. Octopus. We even have Hallows Eve here, and Crimson. Oh, excuse me, Chasm. Now, this is apparently familiar to it. You have Osborn just sitting on top of Barra, everyone just relaxing like this. By the way, I have seen this panel before. In like 2 freaking books. We have Mysterio and you have Electro just chillax like this. I saw this in Amazing Spider-Man number 1. the debut of the Sinister Six, and also they use the very same scene here, the same exact panel, in Spider-Man Unlimited number 7 in the 1990s. And here's the thing. Dr. Octopus is taking the spot of Hobgoblin here. And apparently, get this, Norman Osborn has got Dr. Octopus's number. By the way, in case you haven't forgot, wait, why does Octopus' arms look so different? Oh, that's because he abandoned his original arms. You know, the arms created for him by Steve Ditko. Spider-Man playing his own version of a goblin outfit, because of course he does. And where are those arms? They're living with Jameson. Yep. J. Jonah Jameson, for reasons. And then you have randomly Miss Marvel is in this book again. First time at this point in a freaking year. I still think it was a dumb idea to have her die in issue 26. I'm sure Zeb Wells got a lot of death threats for that, and probably just kept it. And Marvel just kept it quiet. But the one person I would love to hear the opinion about this death is G. Willow Wilson, the woman who created her. Oh yeah, and somehow she knows basically that when she got Mr. O, that she found out though that that's not Norman Osborn, it's the Goblin. And then by sheer randomness, we have Spider Goblin, taking on. I'm like, I see this, I'm like, wait a minute. What's wrong with this picture? So you have Captain America, Spider-Woman, Wolverine, Carol Danvers, who's in Miss Marvel costume, so I'm like, that's not correct here. And Doctor Strange. You look at that, wait. This came recently. Why is Carol Danvers in Miss Marvel costume? Oh, and the reason for this? Mysterious illusion. He apparently completely forgot the fact that Carol Danvers is Captain Marvel now. Wolverine occasionally supports that costume. And this is not the Land of Avengers right now. I don't think it is. So once again, the globe is smashed once again. This time without punching this time by Spider-Goblin taking a freaking metal rod and smashing his head. Like, what the heck? And Kermit's like, you're here because you're sick. Sick again. Once again with the sins of Osborn. Once again, I was like, oh really? If you had done that, I had some bad news about Santa Claus. Yeah. So then Chasm shows up. You know, evil Ben Reilly. The character who a lot of people are hating the fact that was pretty much ruined. And then you have Living Brain going to visit Jameson. Yeah. And look at this cover. Looks like Amazing 6300, doesn't it? It does. Because the cover is a nod set. I'm like, I get the nod. Like, okay, that is a cool nod. I like that. But why in the world do we have to basically do homages to Amazing Spider-Man 1 that was released in 1964 and Spider-Man number 7? Why? This made no freaking sense to me. So you have more fighting, you have Norman Osborn becoming, well, where is Alpha in the office? Yes. You have Miss Marvel in her new X-Men costume. And you have, get this, Kirk Connors using the arms of Dr. Octopus. His own arms. You're thinking, wait a minute. The Lizard is using Dr. Octopus's arms? Yeah, and I'm like, well, these are Spider-Man can become basically become like the one of those anime series where it has the, and like eventually like, ooh, here's a spear, and let's basically use it to beat up Ben Riley, you know, a beloved fan character. And then we have this weird ending to this issue. Look tight, big believers. The well-calling Reek Rip is reporting for your web swing needs. And like, wait a minute, he looks like one of the Spider clones from the 90s. He kind of does. And then, of course, like, oh, we have... This is interesting. So, Ben Riley's mask is protected by psychoreactive goo. Like, what? And apparently that frees Peter being Spider Goblin. And he's back to normal. Apparently back in the spear. And then you have Ben just standing next to Kraven the Hunter. Or the Last Hunter, as he called. And then, of course, he goes after Norman. And then we have Kirk Connors, the Living Brain, Miss Marvel, and Reek Reap doing an Avengers pose. And you have basically put on the... Eventually, like, oh, let's basically finish up the Spear thing. You have Reek Reap beating up Norman Osborn. And look, here's a nod. Yes, we have another classic nod. So we have our third panel homage here. And you're thinking, wait a minute, what is this homage to? Amazing Spider-Man 223. The issue where Norman Osborn originally died, but they're retconned to be alive years later. Then Kraven, you walk around and seeing his teammate just knocked out. You have Octopus' arm being destroyed. We have Mysterio's globe being destroyed. We have Electro surrounded by a Sandman. He walks out. Eventually, then the Octopus arms go from Connors to Miss Marvel. And eventually, he is finally freed. And of course, he sort of supposedly gets away. But Peter goes after him. And then apparently, like, Kraven brings in the guy named Doug from our previous story arc. And eventually, yeah, he's freed. And once again goes to Night Spider-Man. And eventually, once again, it's freed. And of course, they fight back and forth for the damn thing. And so, to get rid of the Goblin personality, uses like make a helmet to basically purge his brain of it. All these good memories of it, and he gets freed, and it just disappears. And Kraven Hunter is stopped. So they kill out the Ring of Personality. So eventually, apparently, Rip Reap, he has a healing factor, so that's not being Green Goblin. I think we're at the end, right? Nope. And then we go to a story featuring Black Cat. And the story looked like it was drawn by Terry Rachel Dotson. Like, what? Yeah, it's a backup story. Feels like it's a cool backup story, and yeah, it is a Terry Dotson story. Called Catnip, written by Marv Wolfman. I'm like, that's interesting. The guy who created Black Cat. Yeah, that's a little odd fun fact. Because people think Marvel, think of New Teen Titans, Crisis on Infinite Earths, Deathstroke, Blade, obviously. He also created Nova, Bullseye, but yes, he created Black Cat too. Then we have another story where it's just Just Spider-Man does his normal thing. This feels like a Spider-Man story here. They have a weird one where he's like, it's a bunch of different Spider-Man stories. There's even one where it's drawn by, the last one's written by Joe Kelly with Juan Ferreira in the artwork. Where it's a team up with Doctor Strange, because of course, basically Marvel loves teams up because the creations of Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. Okay, so positives about these issues. Love the artwork. Love the artwork for this one. My biggest problems is that we have we have cover homages. I love those. But do we need to have panel homages to stuff that came out decades ago? Like homaging a panel of Amazing Spider-Man in #1, Spider-Man #7, and from Amazing Spider-Man 123 from the 70s. I'm like, why was this necessary? I don't know why. And it's almost like what was the ultimate purpose of this story? Just to finally get rid of the Ring Out personality? I would not be surprised if we have another writer who basically brought it back and made Norman Osborn a villain again, because we know Norman Osborn is a villain. But I gotta admit, it's better than we had before. I'm giving it roughly 8.5 out of 10. It's probably by far one of the best stories we had in quite a while. Here's downside. Next year it comes out, we'll collect the final 6 issues of this whole run. Well, the issue by Zeb Wells. And it's a story arc that follows up a gang war. And the ending is a middle finger to fans who are reading this book. I'm like, really, Zeb Wells? Really? Alright, so next up we have is The Flash, Volume 2, Until Time Stands Still. Written by Cy Spirit, artwork by Perez, Vasco Guroff, Scott Kublish, Amanke Nilpon, George Commodus, and Tom Durank. The book collects issue 713 of Flash volume, I believe this is volume number 6. Yeah, 6. And the annual for this volume. I'm not calling it 20. It says here annual 2024, but just call it A#1. So we started with Impulse and Max Mercury. We have this weird future stuff here. And then we have Barry Allen appearing in the book, who, by the way, is Wally's uncle. And here he is interacting with his niece-in-law and his great-nephew. Yes, believe it or not, Wade West is Barry Allen's great-nephew. And there's a lot of weird stuff with the multiverse, and I do like the Flash characters in here. And also we still have Miss Terrific in here as well. I do gotta admit, basically the writing is a little better here. And then we have an alternate version of the Flash for one panel. And the whole thing is about dealing with the multiverse and Wally disappearing. Which even in the future, and he hasn't been back yet. And so and then of course basically you have Jay West. And then for some reason this book has to do with a build up to Absolute Power. And we have Avery, the Chinese Flash. As a quick, basically got speedsters doing their own thing. You always have dealing with the rogues, and of course basically oh, and get this. So basically, get this. These podcasters are arrested for distributing terrorist propaganda all because they're fans of superheroes. I'm like, that is bullcrap. She is violating First Amendment rights. Yeah, and the reason why that she doesn't like superheroes is not because they do bad things. Oh no, she points out basically a flaw in her basic mythology. Oh, they call a person to run this podcast a corn belt Lois Lane. Aspiration, huh? Well, they have an example. Let's say it's right. It goes down. Yeah, and she is. As far as you do, as far as you know, all your crap you say about superheroes come into one thing: you can't control them. It makes you mad. So yeah, then she says her crap on the podcast, and then her associate is basically hit by a taser by the Peacemaker. Yeah. And like I said, the whole purpose of well-being here is to build up absolute power. A crossover that nobody wanted. Nobody any desire to read. And yeah, it came. I read it because I wanted to see what happens. And yeah, it's... I like the ending for it, but I did not like the main story itself. Of course, a lot of this is like, Wally trying to get back to the present, or also with Mirror Master as well. Which I like that. I do like the fact the artwork is better than we have in the first story. At least it's confusing here. And of course, you have Abracadabra, who at one point was trying to take Wally West's baby. So Linda punches him for it. Yeah. Because everything is done so fast here because it's the Flash. And at one point we have Nightwing show up. Yes, Nightwing. We have Jay spying on his dad. I do love this. Yeah. And I'm like, that is a good mom right there. Punching a guy who dared threaten to take her child. He's like, I was going to take my baby. She's back. So, apparently it's taken to someplace safe. Yeah. All this stuff like running around. Then at one point we have Green Arrow fighting Barry. All because basically, like I said, a lot of this is basically lead up into absolute power. Yeah. So, you can think of this as we guess a lot of characters and stuff happens. That's kind of the best way to describe this thing. It's fine stuff per se, but it feels like we have progression in the story a little bit, but I don't care for the absolute power build up in here. It feels like a standard Flash story we know of. Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, I remember this cover came out here. Look at this awesome variant cover. We have the 3 Jay Garrick, the one to far left. That's actually Jay Garrick from the Golden Age. We have, actually it's Prime Earth. The one here, that's the older version. The one in the middle, that's Earth 2, New 52 one. And second we have Barry. Barry from the 50s. And I think that I know that the third one here, the one that's third one in the row, that's New 50. That's New 52 Barry Allen. And then we have this one here that looks like another version of him. We have Rebirth Wally, Kid Flash Wally, and of course Wally we see here in this book. Mm-hmm. And little stuff here. No horror stuff per se. It's a bit confusing with these weird creatures. And here are your guest star characters. You have Barry, Avery, Wally, Max Mercury. By the way, they did mention all three Reverse Flashes: the Rival, Abrathon, and Hunter's Element. Yeah, pretty much like all the speeches here. Because we have, from left to right, we have Jesse Quick, Avery, Jay Garrick, Max Mercury. And by look at them, I think we have Barry, Wally, Wallace. Looks like Irie and Jay, who is actually on costume. We do see Bart, who is Barry's grandson. Really cool here. And well, of course, we're going to have the family. And that's it. It's a very interesting story here. But basically, the bad thing about this book, it leads into... It leads into, of all things, it leads into Absolute Power. Yep. But not much to say about these two books here. I'm going to give the book roughly a... I'm going to give it roughly a 8.5 out of 10. It definitely like improvement with the previous story arc. Yep. And I feel like an actual conclusion here, despite we have a really annoying build-up to Absolute Power. Yep. But yeah, if you took a view, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, and join the like button. Well, it looks like, though, that the Demon Retro will not be uploaded this week. Nope. So, it will just be Case Closed, Blue Exes, and Bleach. And tomorrow we only have one anime. That's it. Just one. Probably gets uploaded. Okay. Here's a bit for Case Closed. Okay.